Hey guys, it's SJ. How are you? Thanks so much for coming by. I'm really excited to show you these toys that I've just got. So they're really for the whole family, but kind of Evelina focused because we're in lockdown still. It's going to be the summer holidays and we'll be around a lot more, and I wanted to get some really educational stuff in for her. Backpack. Bag. Well done. This video is a collaboration with the lovely Kate Murnane. Kate is one of the very first YouTubers I ever watched, so it's really exciting to do a collab together. She is doing her top finds on Amazon for the kids, but also for herself and the whole family. So you'll get loads and loads of tips over there. Kate's channel is all about lifestyle. She's really well known for her amazing fashion sense. I'm particularly obsessed with her interiors and all of the home stuff that she does. So don't forget to go and head over to her channel after you've watched this video and subscribe while you're there. So Montessori sounds like weird to say what makes this a Montessori toy, and I'm not a huge, haven't done my whole house as Montessori, but I've always read about Montessori, and as you know, if you're not new to my channel, then I do a lot of gentle parenting, positive discipline, which all fits into the Montessori kind of philosophy. But it's a really intimidating world and kind of word, and it feels like you have to be either all in or you can't even do a little bit, to me anyway. But I've kind of been debunking it a bit in my mind, and the toys are, normally you would say a Montessori activity because it's a lot about real world activities, but toys to be Montessori, it's just that they're very, very simple, but they really spark children's curiosity, and that's what I love about all the stuff that I found, that they help them to learn and educate themselves, whether that's just through problem solving or just using their fine motor skills, but that you can leave them to do things independently, and they can play with them in many different ways, and no way is right or wrong, but there's always going to be a purpose and they can complete it as well. So I really, really love the style of toy, and I think it's going to really help, and I know that there's going to be something here that you really love because we've loved absolutely everything. So this was a huge hit with Evelina, and it is called a digital logarithmic board apparently, but it's a really, really simple toy. As you can see, it's all wooden, and she's at the age now where she can kind of get used to counting from 1 to 10 quite easily, but sort of actually knowing the shapes of the numbers is something that we're learning, and then being able to count up using the different rings. So she's really enjoyed this. She first enjoyed just putting the numbers in, and then she sort of figured out she could put the little discs on, and then it was okay, we can match the colours and that'll give you the number of how many. But it was quite good for teaching more and less, because if you go over, because the pegs also get bigger in size and you can only fit the number of little discs on, she could kind of see, oh, if this disc doesn't fit on, there must be a higher number. So it's going to be a really fun one, and it's one she's come to again and again to play with independently by herself, and I just think it looks really lovely, and I'm really pleased to have something that I kind of feel is quite educational rather than just a regular puzzle, which she does loads. This Russian block, oh my goodness, this has been the biggest hit. I just can't wait for you to see this, because it's basically Tetris, but it's all wooden, and the boys and me and Henrik and Evelina, it's actually probably easier for the boys, but Evelina really likes to sit and put things together. She really likes to use her mind in that way. We've all been playing this absolutely non-stop. It's kind of like a challenge between the family as well, but just really, really good fun, and there's so many ways to do it, and you can do it in group or you can do it by yourself. So I think this is going to be a really fun one to do when somebody is like not wanting to join in with the rest of the family for an activity sometimes, or we're doing home learning with one and the other needs something to do. This has been my saviour. So they call it wood intelligence. Henrik's the best at it, which really annoyed me because I thought I was the best. He's so fast, but it's a really fun one, and you'll love it as well. This toy is so beautiful. I've wanted for a long time to get kind of flashcards for Evelina. I don't have any, but she's very good at all her words now and her letters, and this is kind of one of those that works so well for Montessori because it has many different functions. So we can use it as flashcards, and she can start to read out the names of the animals and practice her speech in that way. But it's also about recognizing and matching the letters and starting to spell. So the idea is she has the wooden block she puts in, and then she can find the letters and match it up. So a really good way for us to start talking about phonics very gently, and to start recognizing our letters. She's only 3, so it's quite kind of advanced, but it's the starting point that I need to get to with her now to be getting on with recognizing her name and being able to write her name and stuff like that. The only thing with it is that it's all in capitals, which is slightly difficult because it would be nicer for her to recognise the lowercase. I feel like the capitals is a bit harder. That's the only downside really, and I think that again it's a good one that is good all the way up to reception. Finn is in year 1, but I'm sure he would be able to use this as well to like practice his spellings. But it's just really, really beautiful as well. It's so nice to look at. So we've got this wooden geoboard, and it's absolutely perfect for, again, fine motor skills, which is really good to practice in the year or 2 before school for helping them with writing. But there's just so many brilliant ways of playing with it because it's a lovely wooden board. You can learn about your colours using the elastic bands and putting them on. You can learn about your words with all the flashcards, and they have the picture on one side, then you turn it over and it's how to design it using the little elastic bands. So it's really, really great fun for all ages because they're simpler ones like just an arrow, right up to quite complicated diamonds and things for older kids. And there's also some blank cards where you can make your own design and then ask people to copy them. So it's kind of got that problem solving element to it as well. So I think it's a really fun one that can be played with so many different ways and will last quite a good few years in the playroom. Next one is this logical thinking game, which again is so perfect because it has lots of different ways you can play with it. So for Evelina and I, we were just putting in the different shapes, and it was just showing her what are the shapes, what are the colours, and then doing the order very gently. She's kind of just started to play with this one, whereas the other she's been playing with non-stop. And then it's also a good challenge for the boys because they can use the little timer and see how quickly they can make the shapes. And it's got an easier side where it's just circles and you're just matching the colours, but then a trickier side where it is then the shapes. And Freddie's 10, but he played with this and he just see how many cards he could do within the time. So it's a good fun one again, and I think this is going to be great for Evelina as we go into that kind of play mode, and it's just fun to kind of play with all the little cards. She loves the little timer, you know. So it's really good. It's kind of a little bit like an abacus, so I'm sure we can use it for counting and all sorts of things later because you can jump them across. But it's good that it's got different levels. It's just fun to look at and play with, and again just use her little fine motor skills to play around with all the little cards and all the little shapes. But yeah, it's a really good fun one, and I think it's actually really educational for her. And the very last thing is this wobble board. I wanted a wobble board for about a year and a half or even longer when I went to a friend's house, and her girls had one, and the boys just played with it for ages. And I love their sort of idea of this is if you don't know what you're supposed to do with it, that's the point. Because it's the idea that it's just works with their creativity. They're quite pricey, so I think they're around £100, which is why I've waited a while to get one. And the bottom of ours is felt because we have a wooden floor, but then you get it without the felt if you have a carpet. And really I got this for Finn mainly because he likes to jump up and down on the sofas and run around the house. So now it's just like jump on your wobble board, so when he's watching telly he could just bounce back and forward on this. They've been using it to slide their toys down. You can put it this way around and use it as a slide. I've already been on gotten some food. But it's a really beautiful thing to actually have in your room as well. And Finn wanted like his own kind of little chair, so Freddie has a beanbag that he sits in. And I think this is so much better than getting something that he's just going to statically sit on. He can actually play with this a lot, and it sort of helps him a lot when we're stuck in the house to get his energy out. Evelina likes it, so I love it. As I say, I've been kind of waiting and hoping I could get one for a birthday because I do think it's a high price thing to buy, but I just went for it in the end because I just know that it will be used so much, and it has been. So those are my top 6. I will link every single one below. And if you're now dying for some beauty bits for yourself and some other best buys, there is a whole list over on Kate's channel right now of best Amazon buys for the whole family. So don't forget to click to watch that one next. It will be linked below. I will see you on my next video. Have a brilliant week, guys, and I'll take care. Bye-bye.